Welcome back, everybody. Wednesday morning. I almost said Monday because it feels like Monday to me. Wednesday morning edition of Hot Mic rolls on. Dave Richmond coming up here in about 20 some odd minutes. Mentioned yesterday is got back to town, had a couple big quarterback stories. One was on Mark Gronowski and his decision to head to Iowa. The other is our next guest who decided he's got a new college destination. Moorhead's Trey Feeney announced yesterday that he will transfer to St. John's in the MIAC to spend the final 2 years of his eligibility, and he joins us here on this Wednesday morning. Apparently a birthday present to find a new school, so happy belated birthday. Give us the lowdown. Why St. John's? Why was that the destination?
Yeah, kind of as I was going through this process, I kind of had written down some things that were important to me. And one, like a style of play and offensive philosophy that fits me. Two, I wanted to go somewhere and develop really good relationships with coaches and players. And the tradition and the kind of the success that they've had. I just kept going back to it and it felt like the right place. Then lastly, I wanted to go somewhere that's gonna win and compete for championships. And St. John's has a great tradition of doing that, and I hope to continue that legacy.
Trey, always now with the portal and keeping an eye on roster, you got to know when you're scouting teams or evaluating schools, you got to know where you're at. How much did you do that with teams that are out there saying, okay, what's their quarterback situation for me to want to go there?
Absolutely. Me just kind of, since I wasn't in the portal this fall was a very, I don't know, it was a time to just, I was looking and watching all kinds of college football at all different
Yeah.
levels, seeing who had senior quarterbacks, seeing who threw the ball around, had a fun style on offense. And I think I actually learned a lot of football this fall, just kind of watching everyone, obviously kind of helping out my dad coaching and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to get back on the field, and I think this whole fall is only going to help me.
When you do that, just evaluating how much did you watch your own tape to say, okay, this is where things I need to be better at. How much did you do that the past few months?
Yeah, a lot, especially early on when I was kind of putting my film together to send to coaches once the portal opened.
Yeah.
There was a ton of that, and it was kind of going back throughout my college years to see how I even progressed at UND during my 3 years there. It was fun to see on film because I guess I've never, before that, I never sat down and truly watched like 3 years worth of film. So it was cool to sit down in those kind of weeks and months and just take it all in and see what worked and see what didn't. So that I knew when I could get back on the field. Kind of, yeah.
We have not spoken since the decision to leave UND. Tell me about that. What went into the decision to say this is I need to go somewhere else?
Yeah, that was a tough decision just because obviously I had a bunch of great relationships up there. Um, but ultimately it kind of came down to at the end, if Division 2 and Division 3 work on this semester clock. So if I wasn't a full-time student at UND this fall, I could keep 2 years of eligibility for all levels except Division 1. And obviously it was a tough decision, but kind of talking to my family, my mom and dad and stuff, it was ultimately a decision I wanted to make, and they were all in on it. And we're great supporters. So
Trey, the talk now, and it's hard to keep this out even as a young man when you hear on social media that, well, he's quitting on his team. He's leaving in August when camp started. How did you handle that when you heard that?
yeah, I knew once I made the decision that there was going to be stuff like that. But kind of the way college football or college athletics in general is going, it's kind of like the way players move around and coaches move around. That's just kind of what it's turning into. Whether that's you think that's good or bad or anyone does, that's up to them. But that's just kind of the world it's in right now, and so.
Did you feel like you got a fair shake at UND, that you got a chance to earn that job?
Yeah, and that's where I feel like I did everything in my power to make that the place, but ultimately it wasn't. And I'm excited for the next 2 years at St. John's.
How when we had your dad on, how weird was it this year then to the season's going, UND's playing, and you're back in Moorhead and you're helping your dad coach? I mean, how mentally was it difficult early on to adjust for that?
It was different, especially just not being in the gear,
Yeah.
kind of just watching on TV and stuff. But it was fun. Obviously, like those guys were my teammates for 3 years. So I met a bunch of them. I know a bunch of them. So it was still fun to follow them, and just the whole league in general. Just because I've been in it for 3 years, so I know it pretty well. So it was fun to follow.
To be on the sidelines this year with your brother quarterbacking, your dad coaching, what was that experience like?
That was really cool. It's honestly an experience that I probably never thought I was going to get or never get the opportunity to do. But coaching is kind of something that I wanted to possibly get into after my college days. So it was a nice little introduction this fall. And yeah, the three of us, I think my mom heard more football this fall than I think she, well, I don't know. She's heard a lot of football.
I was gonna say,
but
yeah, that's probably right. To see your younger brother go out there and play the way he did, how much did you guys, when he came off, did you guys talk on the sidelines during games, or did you hold that for your dad?
A little bit of both. It's kind of, me or my dad can't get too much in his ear, otherwise he just gets pissed and then doesn't listen at all. So, but no, he was really good. And then the group that they had, like the skill players up front, on both sides of the ball, it was a fun group to work with. And there was a lot of talent and a lot of different skill sets that, as a coach, you just try to maximize all of them.
Who's got the stronger arm? You can throw your dad, put your dad in there too. Who's got the strongest arm? So
my dad might need shoulder surgery, so he might be out of it. But I would have to take that over my brother right now. But we'll see.
Well, and Jet, the recruiting stuff is heating up there. You live that. How much do you talk to? I know it's his own journey, but has he asked you? Because he saw it, what you went through. Have you guys discussed that at all, or no?
A little bit. It's kind of, it's like college athletics is changing, and kind of when I did it, it's all becoming earlier and earlier for these high school kids. Because as a sophomore, shoot, I was tiny, and no one was coming into Moorhead to watch me work out as a sophomore. But yeah, there's obviously things and pieces that he can take from my process, and just what to look for and what to ask and kind of the questions that he's going to get from these college coaches. But ultimately, it's going to be a different process with him, and he's going to enjoy it, and my dad's going to enjoy it.
Tell me about talking with Cole Heckendorf. How much have you done that, and knowing what kind of offense St. John's runs?
Yeah, I've met with him a good amount now, and the quarterback coach Graydon, and they throw the round a bunch, but it's more kind of, they see it as an extension of the run game almost. So when you're throwing like horizontal pass plays and stuff, essentially that's just an extension of the run game. And that's where they've done really good, and they've had success with transfer quarterbacks doing that. And yeah, we've sat down and watched film and done all that. And the more I watch, it was something I wanted to be a part of. So I'm excited.
Well, what are your memories of Collegeville? Because I mean, you had some crazy games there. Like, what comes to mind when I mentioned that? Because that used to be the spot for Moorhead. You guys would play your section championship game there almost every other year.
Yeah, even when I was playing, and even when I was the little ball boy running around on the sidelines, that was always one of my favorite venues. It's kind of tucked down in that bowl area with the trees around it, and yeah, it is unbelievable.
Chase Morlock had a crazy game there, if I remember right, at Collegeville.
Yeah,
he went crazy. He had like 5 touchdowns there.
Yeah, Otis did against St. Cloud Tech when Spanford and Kaiser were there. That was probably one of the best games I've ever seen in person.
My last question before I let you go, just to have this done with, and it was longer, as you mentioned, because you've been in there since August. Does it feel like a weight off your shoulders?
Yeah, now I can get back to essentially the fun part, which is getting like working out with the guys every day, throwing it around, doing 7-on-7. Just being a college student again. That's what I'm looking forward to. And meeting all these new teammates and coaches and building relationships, and yeah, it's real. I'm excited to get back at it.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Happy belated birthday. Congratulations. We'll talk soon, okay?
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
There he goes. Trey Feeney, now new quarterback at St. John's University in the MIAC. Gary Fashion, of course, head coach. Cole Heckendorf, former Bison great, is the OC there for the Johnnies, and we'll see what transpires. You know, I'm glad we asked the question because it comes out now. Fans sometimes understand that. Others don't. When the player decides to go, and Trey decided to go in, what was it, early August, right after UND started camp, that he was going to go in the portal, and timing isn't great. Timing isn't great when guys leave in the middle of a season either. It's people get sick of me saying it's the day and age we live in, or this is where we're at. This is where we're at. There's no good time, frankly. You got to look out for number one. Sometimes that's not the best for the team, but he had to do what he had to do, and he's ended up in the MIAC, and we'll keep an eye on that heading into the fall. We're overdue for a break. We'll take one here. We'll get caught up. Wrap up our first hour. Dave Richmond coming up in hour 2 as we roll on this Wednesday morning. We're back after this.